Yeah. Step into the concrete orchard, the city of towering glass and steel. Millions of people biting the fruit, but only a few taste the sweet talk. We ain't settling for the scraps, the crumbs, or the leftover seeds. We coming for the biggest slice, the grandest portion of the metropolitan pie. Hellstrom architecture on the beat. The rhythm is bouncing. Let's get it! I'm walking, stalking, never squawking, hawking the block for the ultimate prize. Watching, clocking, heavily knocking, shocking the mockers right out of the skies. The apple is massive, passive, aggressive, excessively stressing the weak and the frail. But I'm on a mission, condition is prime. I'm climbing the ladder and tipping the scale. We snapping, trapping, magically happen, clapping the whack and we packing the heat. Flowing and showing, continuously growing, directly right under the street. I'm biting the core, fighting for more, igniting the floor with a magnificent roar. Soaring and pouring, ignoring the boring, exploring the riches hidden in the store. Take a bite. The biggest slice of the apple. The biggest slice of the apple. Here we go. Catch the bouncy, heavy rhythm and feel the magnificent flow. Taking a slice of the apple, basking directly inside the glorious golden grove. Grabbing the fruit, bagging the loot, wearing the customized elegant suit. Planting the root, executing the route, entirely crushing the daily commute. Yeah, throw your hands high if you came to conquer the beast in the concrete jungle. Taking the biggest proportion of success without a single catastrophic bungle. No faking, we baking, we taking the bacon, shaking the ground with a terrible quake. Making them shiver, deliver the river, watching the cowardly enemies shake. The city is grimy, slimy, and tiny. Minds are perpetually trapped in the maze. But we are the giants, the highly defiant, surviving the dangerous, critical days. I'm peeling the skin, playing the wind, washing away the original sin. Spinning the rim, filling the brim, watching the lights get incredibly dim. We snatching the pieces, the leases, the pieces, breaking the system entirely down. Wearing the crown, running the town, never emotionally wearing a frown. Take a bite. The biggest slice of the apple. The biggest slice of the apple. Here we go. Catch the bouncy, heavy rhythm and feel the magnificent flow. Taking a slice of the apple, basking directed inside the glorious golden gore. We grabbing the fruit, bagging the loot, wearing the customized elegant suit. Planting the root, executing the route, entirely crushing the daily commute. Yeah, throw your hands high if you came to conquer the beast in the concrete jungle. Taking the biggest proportion of success without a single catastrophic bungle. Yeah, the concrete orchard and slice of the apple. You can't just wait for the fruit to magically fall directly into your lap, man. You gotta climb the branches, shake the trunk, and take exactly what you deserve. To everybody hustling in the 5 boroughs, grinding for the massive portion. Keep your bite sharp and your rhythm heavily elevated. Hellstrom record, keeping the tape spinning raw. Unquantized, 12-bit bounce. We taking a whole orchard today. Trust the original process. We out of here. Take a bite. Take a bite. Take a bite. Take a bite. Take a bite.
The vigil, the clock is glowing neon red, flashing 3:15 in the pitch black. While the heavy weight of my past mistakes is violently breaking my spinal back. I toss and turn on the mattress, tangling my legs in the sweaty thin cotton sheet, listening to the distant muffled symphony of the chaotic, unforgiving street. The bills are stacked on the kitchen counter, forming a terrifying paper mountain, draining my psychological energy like a broken, continuously leaking fountain. I see the faces of the brothers we lost, trapped inside the cemetery dirt, a constant haunting reminder of the absolute fragility and the generational hurt. Suddenly the silence is shattered by the explosive metallic clap of a heavy tool. 2 blocks down, another tragic victim dropping out of the concrete, survived school. It's the insomnia on the east side, the paralyzing grip of the midnight terror, reflecting on every single miscalculation and every catastrophic human error. The gunshots ringing out loud, interrupting the silence of the neighborhood zone, leaving me completely isolated, fighting these aggressive mental demons alone. Yeah, throw your hands up if you're staring at the ceiling until the morning light, navigating the psychological warfare hitting inside the shadows of the night. The producer chops an obscure soul record, isolating a weeping vintage horn, a perfectly orchestrated soundtrack for a soul that feels completely torn. The unquantized swing of the drum break matches the irregular beat of my chest, proving that the children of the pavement are rarely granted a moment of rest. I walk to the apartment window, pulling back the dusty, faded plastic blind, searching the empty intersections for a tiny fragment of peace that I can find. The yellow street lights are flickering, casting long, menacing shadows on the wall, while the local police dispatchers respond to another fatal, desperate emergency call. I'm haunted by the ghost of the missed opportunities and the bridges I had to burn, trapped inside a cruel cyclical maze where the exact same devastating lessons return. I can't sleep. It's the insomnia on the east side, the paralyzing grip of the midnight terror, reflecting on every single miscalculation and every catastrophic human error. The gunshots ringing out loud, interrupting the silence of the neighborhood zone, leaving me completely isolated, fighting these aggressive mental demons alone. Yeah, throw your hands up if you're staring at the ceiling until the morning light, navigating the psychological warfare hidden inside the shadows of the night. Yeah, the midnight echoes insomnia on the east side. Sometimes the loudest noise ain't the sirens of the gunfire, it's the thoughts screaming inside your own skull when the world gets quiet. To everybody awake right now, fighting the invisible war, keep your spirit armored, the sun always rises, heaving over the darkest avenues. Raw, unquantized, 12-bit, forever, poetry broadcasting for the sickness plot.
Drop the top, 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 top. Drop the top, 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 top.
We cruising, bruising, never losing, cruising the path to the cash.
Drop the top,
Dashing, flashing, smashing the gas, living the past and in the ass. Rolling, controlling, patrolling the block with the flock from the start, tearing apart the artificial charts, playing our part with the heart. I'm glistening, listening, positioning the whole entire crew for the win. Grinning and spinning, beginning to grin, watching the customized rims spin. We tripping, flipping, never slipping, gripping the wood on the wheel. Tell me exactly how does it feel, signing the ultimate $1 million deal. From walking the pavement and taking a talk to parking a spark on the block, ticking the clock, we picking the lock, steadily breaking the heavy rock. With my day ones.
disagreements, leaving the grievances, pleasing allegiance, reaching the uppermost regions. My circle is like a vice, rolling the dice, paying the ultimate price, making advice, man on the ice, serving the hot with the beautiful spice. Remember the days we were sharing the meal, splitting the dollar and keeping it real. Where my day ones. Here we go, catch the bouncy, catch the rhythm and feel the magnificent flow. Riding with the day ones, basking directly inside the golden afternoon glow. The roof is missing the sunshine, it's kissing the leather. We changing the weather, sticking together, light as a feather, rocking a classic vintage sweater. Yeah, throw your hands high if you came from the absolute zero to hero. Flipping the digits and adding another magnificent, beautiful zero. Yeah. The Pavement Parade, day ones and drop tops. You can't buy this type of loyalty at the luxury dealership, man. This was forged in the freezing cold, now we burning up the summer asphalt. To everybody riding with the same crew since the sandbox. Keep your tops dropped and your spirits elevated. Raw, unquantized. 12-bit golden era bounce Captain from the highway. We taking the scenic route today. Trust the original process. We out of here.
The beat filters out slowly, leaving a roaring car engine sound and the roar back to mix.
Slide the heavy window up, stepping out into the freezing midnight breeze. Seeking a temporary moment of absolute silence to put my racing mind at ease. The rusty metal grating groans underneath the weight of my classic sneakers. While the underground radio station softly rattles the blown out speakers. I strike the match, watching the small flame illuminate the dark industrial brick. Analyzing the complex geometry of a city that makes my exhausted spirit sick. Every single glowing window in the adjacent building holds a different tragic story. 1,000 broken narratives desperately searching for a tiny fragment of glory. They built these fire escapes to save us from the physical, devastating flames. But there ain't no emergency exit for the psychological warfare and poverty games. Fire escapes, my Pavement observatory suspended in the midnight air, looking down at the concrete labyrinth and the heavy burdens that we all must bear. We puffing on the cheap tobacco, weaving the grandest dreams of a beautiful flight, trying to manifest a brilliant escape route under the artificial glowing city light. Yeah, throw your hands up if you're sitting on the iron balcony plotting a master plan. The oxidized iron flakes stick to the palms of my freezing, heavily calloused hands. A physical reminder of the decay eating away at these forgotten, curving lands. My thoughts travel faster than the subway trains rattling the underground foundation. Seeking an alternative frequency to cure the generational trauma of my entire nation. I don't just want to survive the winter, I want to see the tropical palm trees sway. I want to completely eradicate the paralyzing fear that dictates the course of our day. The rhythm is unquantized, intentionally imperfect to reflect the genuine human soul, providing the spiritual nourishment necessary to make a shattered community whole. Every exhale is a silent prayer sent directly to the vast, indifferent midnight sky. I close my eyes, visualizing the majestic mountains and the crystal clear ocean waves, refusing to let this claustrophobic studio apartment become my premature silent grave. It's the rusty fire escapes, my personal observatory, suspended in the midnight air, looking down at the concrete labyrinth and the heavy burdens that we all must bear. We puffing on the cheap tobacco, weaving the grandest dreams of a beautiful flight, trying to manifest the grimmy escape route under the artificial glowing city light. Yeah, throw your hands up if you're sitting on the iron balcony plotting the master plan. Constellations, rusty fire escapes. You can physically lock us inside the grid, but the mind will always find a way to travel. To every visionary sitting on the iron steps tonight, blowing smoke into the dark. Keep your vision entirely unobstructed. The concrete is just a temporary foundation. We will eventually rise above the smog and the suffocating sirens. What? Before we building the real escape route tonight. Trust the original process. We out of here. The beat filters out slowly, leaving the sound of the howling wind and the long vinyl hits. Yeah, it's Tuesday evening, the winter wind is howling fiercely through the avenue block. I'm staring directly at the unforgiving mechanical hands of the apartment clock. The refrigerator is an absolute void, just a half-empty jar of the mayonnaise. Navigating the heavy psychological labyrinth of these deeply impoverished days. I throw on my oversized hoodie, stepping out into the freezing metropolitan chill. Walking down a cracked pavement, trying to swallow this incredibly bitter pill. The destination is the local bodega, the absolute heartbeat of the entire street. Where the diverse cultures of the river and the harsh daily realities meet. I push the heavy glass door open, the familiar electronic chime echoes in the air. Put it on my tab, tab. Put it on my tab, tab, tab. Put it on my tab, tab, tab. Put it on my tab, yeah. Put it on my tab, tab. Put it on my tab, tab, tab. Put it on my tab, tab. Put it on my tab. Survive the night. It's the corner store credit, the unwritten contract of the neighborhood trust. Keeping the community breathing when the economic system turns our dreams to dust. A small notebook ledger holding the massive weight of 1,000 desperate pleas. Helping the struggling working class to temporarily rise up from their bruised knees. Yeah, throw your hands high for the bodega owners providing the vital daily bread. I place the groceries on the counter, making direct eye contact with a humble nod. Standing before the register like a weary sinner confessing to a merciful God. I tell him that the factory cut the overtime hours and the paycheck is running late.
leaving me entirely defenseless against the cruel, uncompromising hands of my fate. He doesn't show a single ounce of judgment, doesn't utter a single condescending word. He understands the silent language of poverty that the upper class has never heard. He reaches underneath the counter, pulling out the frayed spiral-bound composition book, the sacred historical archive where the struggles of the neighborhood proudly look. He writes my name down with the blue pen, adding the total to the growing vertical line.
Put it on my tab, tab. Put it on my tab, tab, tab. Put it on my tab, tab, tab. Put it on my tab,
yeah.
Put it on my tab, break. Put it on my tab,
Tag, tag.
Put it on my tab, tab. Put it on my tab.
Survive the night. It's the corner store credit, the unwritten contract of the neighborhood trust. Keeping the community breathing when the economic system turns our dreams to dust. A small notebook ledger holding the massive weight of 1,000 desperate pleas. Helping the struggling working class to temporarily rise up from their bruised knees. Yeah, throw your hands high for the beggar owners providing a vital daily bread. Yeah. The bodega ledger, the lifeblood of the city blocks. They talk about the high interest rates of the massive corporate banks, but they don't know about the pure grace of the neighborhood corner store tab. To every bodega owner writing names in a notebook, you are the real foundation. Keep your head up if you're waiting on that paycheck. Raw, unquantized, 12-bit golden era, poetry broad roster from the corner. We're gonna pay it all back on Friday. Trust the process. We out of here.
I was raised in a household built entirely on the fragile pillars of the deceit, where the blood relatives were quick to retreat and admit their absolute defeat. They smiled at the family dinners, passing the mashed potatoes and on the roasted ham, but behind the closed doors they were orchestrating a highly deceptive, bitter scam. My own flesh and blood constantly measuring my worth by the depth of my pockets, ready to pull the plug and completely detach the electrical wires from the sockets. When the storm clouds gathered and the financial rain started to heavily pour down, I looked around for my relatives, but they had already fled to the opposite town.
They say blood is thicker than water, but the blood can be a venomous poison. I chose the brothers on the pavement, calculating a much more righteous choice than the DNA doesn't mean a thing if the internal spirit is completely hollow and fake. I'd rather drink the muddy street water than drown inside the superficial lake. Yeah, throw your hands up for the chosen kin, the family that you actually select. Building a permanent fortress founded on the absolute mutual, undeniable respect.
Break, 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 break it up. Break, 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 break it up.
I traded the toxic family tree for a sturdy branch blooming right on the concrete, standing shoulder to shoulder with the soldier surviving on that metropolitan street. We didn't share the same genetics, the same last names, or the same childhood roof. But when the rival crews approached, they provided the absolute, undeniable proof. No hesitation, no checking the bank accounts, just throwing the heavy fist in the air, proving that the authentic brotherhood is something incredibly beautiful and rare. My street brother took a heavy charge just to keep my criminal record completely clean, a level of sacrifice that my biological cousins have never actually truly seen.
They say blood is thicker than water, but the blood can be a venomous poison. I chose the brothers on the pavement, calculating a much more righteous choice than the DNA doesn't mean a thing if the internal spirit is completely hollow and fake. I'd rather drink the muddy street water than drown inside that superficial lake.
chosen kin, blood and water. Sometimes you gotta prune the dead branches so the rest of the tree can actually survive. Shout out to the brothers and sisters you pick along the treacherous journey. The ones who don't need a birth certificate to prove their absolute, undeniable loyalty. Keep your circle tight, measure a man by his actions, never by his biological lineage. Raw, unquantized, 12-bit golden era philosophy, broadcasting from the corner. We writing our own family history tonight. Trust the process, we out of here. The beat filters out slowly, leaving the distant subway train sound and the long vinyl whisk. Piss, 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 piss. The beat filters out slowly, leaving the distant subway train sound and the long vinyl whisk. Piss, 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 piss. Beneath the flickering amber street lights on the freezing block, trading complex multi-syllabic equations around the neighborhood clock. The cipher was a sacred sanctuary, a protective dome for the spoken word, where the rawest underground philosophy and the unspoken truths were heard. You were standing right beside me, nodding your head to the heavy bass line, pretending to appreciate the intricate architecture of my newly crafted rhyme. We shared the same broken microphone, passing it back and forth in the cold, believing we were cut from the identical fabric of a revolutionary mold. But I didn't see the silent envy violently brewing right behind your eyes. There's a dangerous, venomous snake slithering quietly inside the cipher, disguised as a loyal companion, but operating as a treacherous, deadly sniper. He took the sacred underground scrolls and sold them to the highest bidder, leaving the authentic foundation of the crew incredibly broken and bitter. Yeah, keep your notebooks closed and watch the people standing in your ring, because the closest ones are usually the ones preparing to lethally sting. The ultimate betrayal happened quietly on a rainy, unforgiving Tuesday night, when you took my rhyme book and vanished completely out of my physical sight. You brought my personal diary directly to an exploitation industry executive, presenting my profound, authentic trauma as your own fabricated narrative. I saw you on the television screen wearing the expensive, shiny designer clothes, spitting the exact same verses that I wrote to navigate my generational woes. You diluted the powerful message, removing the gritty texture for the mainstream, pimping out the sacred culture just to fund your shallow, materialistic dream. But the true hip-hop architects can recognize a fraudulent, manufactured clone. There's a dangerous, venomous snake slithering quietly inside the cipher, disguised as a loyal companion, but operating as a treacherous, deadly sniper. He took the sacred underground scrolls and sold them to the highest bidder, leaving the authentic foundation of the crew incredibly broken and bitter. Yeah, keep your notebooks closed and watch the people standing in your ring, because the closest ones are usually the ones preparing to lethally sting. Your venom on the mic, the snake in the cipher. Your
You spill the lyrics, but you can absolutely never steal the soul. The fluids and gears always maintain the authentic connection to the concrete. Every lyricist guarding their notebooks. Protect your intellectual property. Don't let the vampires drain the lifeblood of your creative architecture. Raw, unquantized, 12-bit golden era poetry broadcasting from the shadows. We exiling the snakes from the garden tonight. Trust the original process. We out.
Leave roaches out slowly, leaving the distant police siren.
The exact moment, the local paradigm started to practically shift when my underground hustle finally generated a massive, undeniable financial lift. Suddenly the cellular phone is ringing continuously throughout the midnight hour, surrounded by the parasites desperately trying to siphon my newly acquired power. They applaud every single syllable, laughing hysterically at the unfunny jokes, blowing the expensive Cuban cigar smoke while wearing the customized designer cloaks. We popping the premium bottles, celebrating the victories that they never earned, ignoring the fundamental street lessons that my ancestors had historically learned. They claim they would take a bullet, swearing absolute loyalty upon their own life. But I can see the shallow reflection in their greedy, calculating, deceptive eyes. A sinister network of the hidden agendas disguised by the friendly lies. When the trouble comes, it's the fair weather felons, the counterfeit crew running from the heavy storm. They only stand in your corner when the climate is comfortable and warm. But the second the legal documents drop or the physical altercations actually start, they completely vanish into the shadows and rip the brotherhood entirely apart. Yeah, throw your hands up if you see through the optical illusions of the fake. Preserving your authentic energy before the venomous reptiles can fatally snake. The reality check arrived violently on a freezing or forgiving Wednesday night when a territorial dispute quickly escalated into a highly dangerous physical fight. The rival crew pulled up aggressively, demanding a heavy toll for the pavement tax. I turned around to mobilize my soldiers and found nothing but the empty tracks. The same individuals who drank my liquor had evaporated completely into the thin air, leaving me to navigate the treacherous combat zone without a single ounce of care. Sitting inside the interrogation room, staring directly at the concrete painted wall, I used my single authorized telephone lifeline, but nobody answered the frantic call. The courtroom benches were entirely empty, devoid of the familiar neighborhood faces, as the judge handed down the heavy sentences in the most isolated, lonely places. When the trouble comes, it's the fair weather felons, the counterfeit crew running from the heavy storm. They only stand in your corner when the climate is comfortable and warm. But the second the legal documents drop or the physical altercations actually start, they completely vanish into the shadows and rip the brotherhood entirely apart. Yeah, throw your hands up if you see through the optical illusions of the fake. Preserving your authentic energy before the venomous reptiles can fatally snake. The counterfeit crew fan, well the fella. You measure a man's true wealth by who is standing next to him in the trenches. To every authentic soul navigating the treacherous waters of success. Keep your vision sharp, the leeches will fall off when the blood runs cold. Raw, unquantized, 12-bit golden era philosophy barking from the pavement. We cutting the dead weight tonight. Trust the process.